barking up the wrong tree, Lycos.
You know, speaking of bark, how many trees are there in Sonic the Fighters?
Not the topic today. We're talking about the bark, not the trees. And not the tree, the polar bear.
My main boy. Welcome back to the LoreX podcast, everyone. And today we're talking Bark the polar bear. I was actually excited to talk about him because, again, as I've seen previous episodes, when I played Sonic the Fighters as a kid, Bark was my go-to. Why? I actually have no idea.
You know, what of the implication of the fact that we have a yellow polar bear? You know, polar bear in areas that typically have snow. The snow is typically white, but if snow happens to be yellow, or
why is
why
is he yellow?
You see where I'm going with this?
Why did they make him yellow?
Perhaps it's just a good contrast.
Yeah, Bark the polar bear. He's strong. He can fling and flatten people, but he's a shy boy. He doesn't like to talk much. And apparently, he's a bit of a sweetheart, according to Amy.
Oh, what a cutie.
So he first appeared in Sonic the Fighters as one of the guardians of the Chaos Emeralds slash one of Sonic's friends and participated in the tournament. Basically, if they defeated everyone else, they would be the one to go onto Tails' Lunar Fox to fly up to the Death Egg 2 and blow it up. And he was the guardian of the yellow Chaos Emerald because the Chaos Emeralds had to match the color of person guarding it.
I love the concept of this tournament in that it is everybody fighting against each other to see who has the right to blow up the big giant space station.
No, let's not all work together. Let's fight each other to see who's the strongest. And then, since, you know, they will have defeated 7 other people, they'll be exhausted. So, of course, they'll want to immediately fly to the Death Egg to blow it up after fighting all day.
Oh, yeah. It's just icing on the martial arts tournament cake. So, like, what do we know about Bark other than the fact that I'm pretty sure he's in Sonic the Fighters? He is one of the characters and has a little bit of lore based off of what's seen in, I think, the game manual. He's from North Island. He likes to snowboard. He apparently does not have a blood type.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, no, this guy doesn't have a blood type. Neither does Bean the Dynamite, by the way.
I'm picturing, like, they're at, like, a doctor's office, and the doctor, like, goes up to them with the syringe to, you know, do a blood test, and it's, like, put it in, and, like, they do the thing to suck up blood, and, like, nothing goes in the syringe, and they're like, what?
Just dust.
And it's just, like, Bean's just like, oh, yeah, we don't have blood. Just period, we don't have blood.
Bean's like, I replaced my blood with gunpowder. And Bark being like, it's ice. It's always been ice.
Or instead of just talking, he just looks at the doctor and just shakes his head no.
Yeah, you know what? Bark the polar bear is not a man of a lot of words.
Nah, he's like the strong, silent type.
Very much so.
I will admit, going into this, I only thought he was in Sonic the Fighters. I didn't realize he actually appears in other games.
He has some cameos, right?
Yeah, it's some minor cameos, one of which being in Sonic Generations, actually. He's on some of the wanted posters in City Escape, and apparently Bean is also on some of those. Makes sense because they're not really like heroes. If I have to associate them with like characters we've talked about or read about relatively recently, I'd relate them to like Rough and Tumble. Antagonists, but not like major villains.
Well, from what I know about Bark and his associations, and this is also something that they mention on the wiki page, that he's not really a bad guy. He just associates with like the wrong type of people.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, when I was doing a little bit of searching, Bark appears in a group with Bean and Fang in a group called the Hooligans. And I get the impression that the Hooligans aren't just a couple of rough and tumble hooligans going around causing a couple of small little mishaps here and there. If they've got wanted posters plastered for all 3 of them, I think they're like major criminals.
I could see that more being for Bean because, you know, the guy plays around with explosives. I mean, hence the name Bean the Dynamite instead of Bean, I believe he's a woodpecker.
I need to find this wanted poster for Fang because I found the wanted poster for Fang, aka Knack the Weasel. He's wanted for theft and extortion.
Oh.
I wonder if I can find the wanted posters for Bean, but also Bark. Like, honestly, Bean, I could imagine his wanted poster just being like bombs. He literally is literally it. I don't think I could say that on this podcast. I feel like Bark's association is just like tax fraud.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just like wrong place, wrong time, and it's just so closely associated with them that he might as well just be a part of their group. I know that is not true at all because he is BFFs with Bean. He's actually not crazy about Fang, but we'll get into that in a little bit because I actually want to talk about the other video game cameo he has that is not a poster.
Before we go there, I
you
found
find
the poster. It's for Bark and Bean, and they are both wanted because they are considered armed and dangerous. And I want to say there's a double joke here. Bark the polar bear is described as having long arms, and Bean the dynamite is quite literally the dangerous one.
Yeah.
I think it is Bark armed, Bean dangerous. Armed and dangerous.
Also, with these water posters, I find it interesting that Fang here has a different render from, or a different artwork here, but Bark and Bean, those are their models from Sonic the Fighters. I think that actually kind of makes sense because the only other time we see them, or at least Bark, is in Sonic Mania of all things.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that.
So apparently, the heavy magician can shapeshift into Bark, Fang, or Bean in like the beginning of the zone. And so they are disguised as one of the three. They are on a armadilloid that shoots down the tornado. And then during their boss fight, they will occasionally transform into Bark to do like some of his like attacks.
It's cool to be able to see some of those older characters that didn't have like sprite level models get sprite level models like later on.
Yeah, like that was just crazy to me. I'm like, oh wow, he has like a full 8-bit character sprite. Also, he was a playable character in Sonic Blitz. I'm not familiar with this one.
Is that like one of the mobile games?
Yeah, it's a mobile game where I guess you collect cards.
You apparently can't get it on the Android phone here in Philadelphia, at least. Says this app isn't available on Google Play in your region.
Oh, right, because this is the game that it's not out yet in the US, right?
I don't know. But you said he makes an appearance in it, apparently.
Yeah, and when he's in this game, he also got a new 3D model.
Oh, is that the one on the wiki page?
Yeah, that is the main one on the wiki page. That's where we got his modern design. Thank you, card game mobile app that is not available in this region yet.
Evidently, for this Sonic Blitz game, Bark the polar bear is an energy cost of 4. I do not know what this energy cost means, but you need 4.
I was gonna say, why are you talking about his stats in a game that we literally never played and barely talked about?
Well, please note, the other energy costs for other notable characters in Sonic Blitz are, for Sonic, 6.
Okay.
For Amy, 3. For Bean the Dynamite, only 1.
However, this will also go back to the fact that we have no context. This means nothing.
Only because, very small digression with this Sonic Blitz game. Do you remember the Battle Cuckoo Empire?
Yes.
Dr. Fukukurikov
Oh my god, that's right.
is a power level 5 for some reason?
Are
this
there
has
any
nothing
other
to do with
battle
Bark.
cuckoos in Sonic Blitz? My last question before we move on.
No.
Missed opportunity for all of the battle cuckoo lovers in the Sonic community.
Oddly enough, here on the Sonic Blitz wiki page, it actually states in the trivia section that this game would mark the first classic exclusive character to have a modern design, specifically being Bark the polar bear.
Oh, cool.
Because it looks like, too, even for the designs that I see here, even Fukukurikov, actually, no, that looks like a modern design, isn't it? Never mind. Oh my god, even Grounder is here. What the heck? That is not the Grounder I know and love. What the heck did they do to my Grounder?
Why is he red?
All right, this is getting a little bit off topic.
Yeah, no, we're getting out of this. Again, this app we have no context on.
Anyways.
It's funny that Bark is the big, strong dude, but he actually doesn't like to cause pain unless he has to or is provoked. So a lot of the time, he will just grapple people or immobilize them.
It's funny you say that, too, because there's also some mentions here that, like, Bark, he's not a really bad guy himself. But, like, he doesn't really have a very good relationship with Fang, but has a very good relationship with Bean. So that kind of makes me think that, again, going back to the whole hooligan association, I think Fang is, like, the leader, charismatic person of the group who's just kind of leading these guys and being like, yo, let's go cause some madness. And Bark's just like, I don't really want to, man.
My interpretation right now, because I don't really know how they work, like, as a quote-unquote team, it's basically Fang probably persuading Bean, and then Bark just kind of comes along because he wants to stick with his best friend. Bark will sometimes listen to Fang, but Fang is basically like on a short fuse with Bark because after a while, like Bark will just get sick of his stuff. Bean and Bark, not only are they best friends, but they also like share a lot of like opinions on a lot of stuff more than like Bark does with Fang. The two are often shown in sync with each other in their opinions and actions, while Bark's silence means their relationship isn't conveyed much further. According to Bean, Bark is the one who keeps him in check when he gets over his head.
I guess that makes sense.
And yeah,
Bean kind of strikes me as the wacky, cartoonish character in the duo.
Like wacky, almost like hot-headed because, you know, like a bomb, short fuse.
Mm-hmm. Even from what I see in the comics, there's like this one panel that looks like the three of them are all hanging in like some sort of like flying little car thing, and Bean's just got his tongue hanging out of his mouth. And Bark's just like looking over at Bean while Fang's doing his little like conniving hand thing.
I love the facial expressions here. Confident driver, the one guy in the group, and then the one guy concerned about the other guy.
I love that.
I love this image, actually. That's adorable. Again, the facial expressions they have in some of these panels are amazing.
You versus the guy they tell you not to worry about versus the guy who's worried about the guy you're not supposed to be worried about. And it goes from Fang to Bean to Bark. I'm in charge. I'm concerned.
And because Bark is like a silent character, he doesn't actually have too many like main interactions with other characters outside of Fang and Bean. The main two being Amy and Knuckles. Amy learns he's like a big softie. They're on a mission together trying to stop the Heavy King, and she's cold or something, and he gives her his scarf. And she's like, "Oh, that's really sweet. Like, you're just a big softie, aren't you?" And he actually like starts blushing, confirming her point, and he actually feels kind of bad later because of the people he associates with. Like, they do have to clash heads at some point, and when he does and she sees him like doing bad things, he straight up avoids looking at her and is hiding his face. He doesn't want to do wrong around her, but he kind of has to.
Yeah, you know, he's very bashful. He's Bark the Bashful. I also like the fact that if anybody's going to understand Amy being cold, it's going to be the polar bear, who I imagine is walking around in environments that are significantly warmer than he's used to.
Yeah, which
is intriguing, right? Because if he's used to the cold weather and he's in warm tempered environments, why is he wearing a scarf?
Somewhere on the wiki, it did specifically state that if he is in any environment or like temperature other than freezing, he is uncomfortably hot, which makes sense because he's a freaking polar bear. They're not designed to be like on the beach or like in the desert sunbathing. No.
But yet he's walking around in these hiking boots and the scarf and the hats this whole time. You know, he looks very comfortable in his discomfort.
He knows how to rock the look. He probably is like the suffer in silence kind of people, where it's like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, where they're like, if he's uncomfortable with something, he's uncomfortable, but he's just not going to say anything until you like poke and prod him enough times. And also you're Bean, then maybe he'll go like, I'm not okay.
Bean's just like, man, this weather. Bark's just like, I don't know if I have any images of him doing this, but like, he's definitely the kind of guy who's going to take the scarf and just put it like over his mouth and be like,
yeah, no, I could definitely see him doing that. I see a blurb here. Bark would come to Amy's house to read some of Amy's self-made comic books.
Oh.
Again, like outside of the comics, we don't have like a ton of stuff with him.
But actually, which comic series does he make an appearance in? It looks here that there's a whole page on Archie, and
he actually appears in both Archie and
IDW.
IDW.
When is he in IDW? Oh, this looks like issue number 3 he's mentioned.
Oh, yeah, and this is also where Fang and his gang join forces with Sonic and friends and Eggman to fight against the Heavy King, because the Heavy King took all the Chaos Emeralds, gained control of Eggman's empire, and also the medals. Metal Knuckles and Metal Sonic are here as well, but Heavy King's in control of them.
Oh, interesting. I'm curious about this Fang's gang. Like, are they working in a good capacity in this particular issue?
Like, against the Heavy King, I might just keep calling him Metal King. They are working together, but I think after that, then yeah, they basically go their separate ways. Fang and crew go back to doing what they do best.
According to the wiki page for Fang's gang, their alignment is evil, so therefore they must be criminals. So you mentioned already that Bark made his appearance in Sonic the Fighters, also some cameo appearances in Sonic Mania, but it wasn't actually him there. It was just kind of images of him conjured by the heavy magician.
Yeah.
So the question I think remains is, are they still around? If so, what are they doing? What is he doing? What's Bark doing?
Again, we don't know. We haven't actually had them in a game like themselves since Fighters, which, when did Fighters come out?
96.
Wow, that was actually going to be my first guess.
Now, oddly enough, on the Fang's Gang wiki page, Tails Tube episode 5, Remember When, Amy is stated to imply that the trio, all three of them, including Bark, could still be around, but they haven't seen them in some time. So they at least acknowledge their presence. And I'm also seeing here too on this page that that association of Fang, Bean, and Bark all together wasn't explicitly stated until the Hooligans made their appearance in the Archie comics. So originally in Sonic the Fighters, aside from them just existing in the same game, there wasn't really any association between the three of them. Except maybe Bark and Bean, because I can see like there's this one page that I found that has seemingly 2 pages from the manual that shows like the controls for like what moves that they could do. And both Bark and Bean are coincidentally or otherwise next to each other or included in the same image.
Also, just random fun fact for Bark. One of his original concepts, he was not going to be a polar bear. He was going to be an orangutan.
Well, actually, you know what? Like, you remember? We saw an orangutan.
Yeah.
And that guy was pretty cool.
Yeah,
the mechanic or something?
Yeah, the chief mechanic at the
chief mechanic?
Restoration HQ. Yeah.
That's fair. You know what? We don't have a lot of bears in the universe anyway, aside from Smokey.
Well, no, we got Smokey, and then we also have the
Smokey
witch,
Dad.
the witch Carter guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh my god. Did you just mention the witch Carters?
I did.
You're not gonna believe this.
Oh no.
I was going through the wiki page for specifically the Hooligans, which remember is Bark, Bean, and Knack the Weasel, who is also Fang the Hunter. There is a page that includes the 3 of them with Metal Sonic, and all 3 witch quarters, Behringer, Wolf, and Karadia make an appearance again.
Oh my gosh.
In association with the Hooligans, of which Bark is a part of. Behringer looks absolutely like having a time.
Dude, he
Wolf
is not
looks
having
as
a good
derpy
time.
as Bean, and Karadia is just doing
I'm not
what she
gonna
does.
say anything.
She's just doing what she does.
Also, apparently, Bark was one of those characters who had a placeholder name for a while. Bug.
You know, at least on trees, bugs can often be found under bark.
That is true. Also, just going with fun appearances, I forgot this was a thing. On the cover of one of the Sonic X comics books, specifically issue number 15, there is a stuffed toy of Bark.
Oh. Is that also Amigo from Samba de Amigo?
I was just about to say, yep. There's also Amigo and there's also Storm. If you look at the gray robot's hand, he has a figure of Storm. I don't remember what their names were. Deco and Boko? I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched Sonic X, and I'm not rewatching it again.
The thought occurs to me here that we have a very interesting, like, sprawling narrative that we're finding in this Bark episode. Like, it's not just about Bark. Bark appears to be existing in relative or in association with a lot of other characters. There's not a lot about him aside from Sonic the Fighters that is specifically just him. Instead, it's him as a part of a group.
I feel like they almost kind of have to because he's like a silent character. So we probably are not ever going to get too much about him unless they somehow have this character where he's like, oh, this is the character who he shares everything with. To our understanding, there is no one like that. Like, closest he has is Bean, and the only like second place to that is his relationship with Amy.
Oddly enough, I was very curious of whether or not Bark the Polar Bear ever had any lines at all. And at least according to the Twitter account Semi-Frequent Sonic Facts, starting in Archie's Sonic comics, Bark the Polar Bear is a complete mute, never speaking at all. But Knack and Bean seem to understand him just fine. It's possible he's just completely mute. Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, have we ever heard this guy speak at all? Like, I don't think we have.
And I was even like trying to look at some of the comic panels that they have here on the wiki to see if he's shown speaking, but no.
I saw a couple of comic panels of text boxes next to him, but I never actually noticed that none of them are ever actually attached. I didn't notice that until now.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool having like a mute character.
I mean, I don't know if he's like canonically mute or we just never hear him speak. speak. And it kind of gives me vibe of, I guess, technically classic Sonic, who I don't believe speaks either.
Correct. I feel like with how they are now, they literally could go either way. Like, if they want him to be like a man of few words, they could have him speak. Or if they wanted to, they could just say, oh yeah, no, he's actually mute. Like, he can't talk at all. But he then somehow has such a connection with certain people that they understand him.
You know, that actually makes me feel a little bit worse about Bark's situation. Like, if we go with the fact that he can't speak at all, or he just chooses not to, then the fact that he gets caught in these wacky and potentially criminal situations because he literally can't stand up for himself with his words. All he's got are his fists and his arms and the kindness he can give to others. Like, that's a little tragic in a way.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, oh no.
It's okay. It's okay. I want to quote one of the replies on that Twitter post as somebody being like, my non-verbal king. And I'm like, bro.
Bark, the non-verbal king.
Dude, what if other polar bears out there actually communicate telepathically? Maybe that's what we have that we just haven't uncovered yet. Or Bark is not just a polar bear, he's a telepath. Or maybe it's not Bark, it's Bean and or Fang who are the telepaths.
I would not trust either of them to be telepaths.
Neither would I.
It would actually also be kind of cool with Bark is if he is mute, if he communicated via sound.
Or you know what? Again, I never actually read through the comics, but maybe there's a little bit of sign language action going on.
Yeah, like, yeah, sound or sign language.
Or in a sort of kind of meta-comedic kind of way, he does actually speak, but whenever he does, it's the scarf over his mouth, so it always just kind of sounds like a mumble.
Oh, like almost like Kenny from South Park.
I never actually watched South Park, but if that's how it works, then yes.
Well, I mean, whenever Kenny talks and he has his hood up, it's not something like this. Instead of it being like muffled, it's just like like it's literally just gibberish, like muffled gibberish.
Oh, okay. Was there anything else we wanted to cover about Bark? I feel like I learned something new about this guy. Hey, he's actually a cooler guy now than I thought he was previously.
Hey man, do not talk smack about my silent king.
Literally the strong and silent type.
I think we've honestly covered everything there is really about Bark himself. He doesn't have too much there. I mean, he's been in very few games. And again, he's more, as you stated earlier, he's not really a standalone character. He's like a package deal.
Also, you know what I just realized? On the Archie comic page, there is a panel that shows Bark holding Chip from Sonic Unleashed with the label Bark the Polar Bear, Silent Brawler.
I don't know, that like mouth like squiggle, and it looks like he has like a raised eyebrow. He looks confused.
He's got a furrowed brow for sure. What the heck was he doing with Chip?
I don't know. So this must have been when they were trying to incorporate the Sonic Unleashed story that we talked about during the Sonic Unleashed episode.
Sure, yeah. You know what else we didn't cover about Bark? His likes and dislikes according to, again, the Bark the Polar Bear in the Archie Comics wiki page.
Okay.
Evidently, he's dislikes Bean's craziness, but he likes making smoothies. And this was discussed in Pirate Plunder Panic Part 2, aka issue 56 of the Archie comics, where it looks like I see the characters from the Soul Dimension, including that one pirate version of Metal Sonic.
Gosh, what was his name? He was so cool. I loved his design.
Captain Metal.
That's it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And you know what? In this image, I see Bark back there with the little like butler bow tie and the eyes closed, evidently serving our metal piratey king.
He's serving him.
What the heck is going on in here?
It looks like Bean is cooking, what was her name? Blaze, Cream, and Amy. Oh, cheese is in there.
Oh my god, what is going on in this image? see, hold up a second. Bark is not a bad guy. He just kind of associates with the wrong people. You know,
he's
like
not,
a metal overlord
who he's just going to serve the soup. I have no context for this image, but I adore it.
Absolutely, that silent butler energy totally fits with Bark the more that I've found out about him. We have seen quite the swath from Bark the Polar Bear. He's apparently been to the Soul Dimension. He fought to be the champion of the Emeralds to blow up that giant space thing in the sky.
Death Egg 2.
He associates with the wrong crowd, but he's A-okay with not the wrong crowd when it comes to sharing his scarf. He's a good dude. He's a bad dude. He's a silent dude, but he's a dude who gets around and has apparently been missing for a hot minute.
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta disappear. Just do like the whole peace.
Bark the polar bear just like does the peace sign and slowly fades away into nothingness.
There's a problem there, though. Those are like boxing gloves, dude. He doesn't have fingers.
I don't know how he's gonna do it, but somehow Bark the polar bear is going to be able to peace out in some way with those boxing gloves.
Just Photoshop like 2 like human yellow fingers over his glove.
Ew.
And just fade out.
I do not want to see my boy Bark without those gloves on. If the dogs need to be kept away, I need to make sure those grippers are also kept away. That's not for this podcast. Here's my message for Bark. I really love you.
Is that I love you in sign language? Yeah, I don't know ASL.
That's okay. I can't say that I know it canonically either.